coming up on the high school game night pregame show.
It's crunch time in the LL with district playoff spots on the line.
Every day we got to play our best game from here on out.
It's do or die in Denver, where Cocalico hosts Garden Spot. One team's hopes will live on, the other knocked out of contention.
And we'll show you why the Buckskin season could have been decided by 2 plays totaling 2 inches.
Caught by Artman! Oh my goodness!
And the LL's reigning state finalists, one as good as ever, the other in a fight for a district berth.
Plus, how good is Darren Thompson? Well, he just might be better than LL's record setter, Kevin Kelly.
Touchdown Warwick! You are kidding me.
And we go under the lights and on the mat with a sophomore Spartan.
Everybody has a breaking point, and you just got to find it.
It's week 8 and we are in postseason form.
High school game night starts right now!
Welcome to week 8 here on the high school game night pregame show with playoffs looming, lots to talk about, and more must-wins on the docket. Penn Manor and Warwick set to kick off in our game of the week.
In just about 30 minutes from kickoff, this is a big-time game for the Warriors, who with 3 games to go can keep themselves in the running to be the Section 1 champion. Their victory over McCaskey a Friday ago improved their league mark to 3-1 alongside Manheim Township, and a game back from frontrunner Wilson, who they'll meet in the season finale. And as the cliche goes, the most important game is tonight, welcoming to their turf on homecoming Penn Manor. A week ago, the Comets shocked Township 38-20, forcing 5 turnovers in the effort, while the Warrior D is ranked 4th best in the league, allowing 250 yards a game, and facing a Comet team whose confidence is at its peak. That's exactly where they plan to win the game.
We put a lot of pressure on some of our kids. Our linebackers are expected to make tackles. Our DBs have to play a lot of man coverage. They're very good at assignment football and understanding how they fit in the overall concept, and they're held accountable and they always produce.
I don't think anybody in the league likes to run against us. And we got big guys up front, good linebackers. I mean, we will show you that, you try to run through the middle, we're going to pop you.
Warwick does lead the overall series 12-9. Let's take a look at the numbers on our game of the week. Most notably, defense on both sides ranked up with the best in the league. Offense, though, heavily in favor of the Warriors, Carl.
And the Comets' offensive attack split almost evenly between pass and run. Warwick, of course, nearing the 2,000 mark on the ground, averaging almost 280 rush yards per week. Scoreboard-wise, the Warriors average about 28 points a game. The Comets around 18. That's only 19th best in the league. Part of the problem, QB Adam Saad has thrown 12 picks.
All right, here now to help us further break down the game of the week and those numbers, we welcome in Eric May of High School Game Night. We always talk so much about Warwick's explosive run game, but like I said, their defense is ranked 4th in the league right now, allowing about 250 yards a game. How overlooked really have they been this year, Eric?
Well, they have been overlooked because of the fact of the success that the offense has had. You talk to Bob Locker, he says the one thing they've got to cut down is they can't allow the big plays. Take away those big plays, it's a very, very solid defense.
Penalties also been a big problem for this team this year, but Warwick's game plan obviously relies a lot on that run game this week. Coach Locker saying he plans to spread the ball out, maybe not have 40 carries in the hands of Darren Thompson. How dangerous could this be for Penn Manor, who might not be prepared for that kind of game plan?
Well, I tell you what, the more weapons he has to go along with Thompson, the better off Warwick is going to be. Obviously, people have tried to key on him so far. Nobody has succeeded. Now, if you get a couple more guys in the mix and they produce, they become that much more potent.
This game, in the grand scheme of things, is huge for Warwick. 3 games to go in the league season. Could come down to a Week 10 showdown with Wilson if they can win up to that point. What is the #1 focus, the key to this game for Warwick, making sure, no doubt about it, they're going to come out on top?
Well, I think it's going to be the defense, because Penn Manor offensively, they've got size, they've got some speed, and I think if Warwick is able to shut them down, I think the Warwick offense should be able to take care of business.
Penn Manor's really been one of those teams that's been up and down. Got any guesses of which team we're going to see tonight, Eric?
Your guess is as good as mine, but the thing is, this could be a very dangerous team, and Warwick cannot afford to overlook them.
All right, thanks, Eric. We'll let you head out to the field, and we'll catch up with you a little bit later for kickoff.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, the Lancaster Catholic Victory Parade continues to roll through Section 3.
They are up to 20 straight wins dating back to last year, and the last four haven't even been close.
4 straight 40-point performances by the offense, and the defense has been even better. The Crusaders posted their 3rd shutout of the season last Friday after blanking Northern Lebanon. They've forced the most turnovers in the LL, and their opponent tonight is a Columbia team that lost 6 fumbles last week. But as the top team in the section, Catholic knows they'll face an upset-hungry team, giving their best effort week in, week out.
Whenever you're able to play a game like this, you know that the other team's going to come out no matter how they are. They're going to give you a really good game, so we got to be prepared.
It's a rival game, you know. It doesn't throughout the records in this one. You know, we're going 20 minutes up the road, play Columbia, and you know, it doesn't matter what their record is, what our record is. You know, that's something they'll be talking about the rest of their lives.
Just getting started here on the pregame show, we dive into the Section 2 mix where teams are in make-or-break situations from here on out.
You can feel sorry for yourself, or you can get back off the mat and, you know, just get after it.
Plus, the effort amounts with perhaps their best chance at a Section 1 victory taking on Hempfield. Stay tuned, those stories are coming up.
High school game night is brought to you by JD's Pazzo Pizza in Ephrata.
We just got to come to work every day. We got to play our best game from here on out.
We have to win these next 3 games, or our chance at playoffs aren't looking good.
Finding out who we want to be and what we want to do this year, and we know how important it is for us to grab a few wins at the end of the season here and trying to get in the playoffs.
We can beat all the teams we play, and we also could lose them the way we play sometimes. Every game's going to be close for us.
These are some of the teams in dire need of a win tonight and really through the end of the regular season.
I'm really no longer Section 2 hopefuls. Manheim Central in the best spot with an overall winning record looking towards the postseason. The best they can do is a 7-3 mark for Cocalico, CD, and Garden Spot just 6-4.
District 3 cutoff usually at 6, but no guarantee until you hit at least 7. And tonight will be the axe for one of those 2 teams, Cocalico and Garden Spot, fighting for a chance.
Yeah, and both teams coming off losses they would surely like to forget. The difference between a win and a loss came down to the final 10 seconds for Cocalico, who dropped their 4th game of the season to Elizabethtown, and Garden Spot failed to get anything started again against unbeaten LS, who stayed that way with a 42-7 slaying of the Spartans. Both teams have had their share of ups and downs, but with that playoff clock ticking, it's a question of who can put together a complete 48 minutes of football tonight.
Good teams play 4 quarters. I mean, teams that aren't very good or not very consistent don't play 4 quarters or a half or this or that. So, you know, our focus is that we have the ability to be good, but now it's time to start showing people that we're good, and it comes with discipline and doing the right thing.
We've seen bits and pieces of us being great, but we have yet to put a full game together, so I think if we do that, we can come out on top.
It's the same thing that we needed versus LS that we didn't have. It's cool heads, it's composure, and even keel and execute. You know, the message hasn't changed. We just need to be more consistent in what we're doing.
Cocalico will be without fullback Austin Hartman for another week with that ankle sprain. His replacement Tyler Buckwalter also joining the DL after a Week 7 concussion. Receiver and cornerback Kevin Ansall will also miss his 2nd straight game with a hand injury.
And CV is another 3-4 team, and this is how close it's been for the Bucks this year. They're maybe 2 inches from a 5-2 record. Coming up millimeters short on 4th and goal against Ephrata way back in Week 3. And this play against Central a week ago where Alex Diener got a hand on this 4th down pass, but Brandon Artman still made a spectacular catch, leading to the game-winning score. As the players said at practice this week, it's a 3-game season now, starting tonight against another 3-4 squad, Lebanon. CV's defense has been the strength of this team all year and will be tested again tonight by the Cedars air raid.
Their offensive scheme causes some problems. They can score a lot of points. They know how to pick up blitzes, and the quarterback gets rid of the ball rather quickly.
We're going to have to mix it up on them. With a team that throws the ball a lot, you can't do one thing the whole game. Yeah, you know, give them different looks, maybe a blitz here, you know, then another time we'll lay back in coverage.
Back we go to the Artman catch for the Barons, no doubt taking that momentum into Week 8 tonight, and why not? It's been pretty hard to come by this season in Manheim, but the victory means a playoff possibility, still no guarantees, especially with Elizabethtown coming in with a newfound confidence in Week 8. mark them down as another section rival for Mannheim and one who took a beating from the Barons back in 2009. And as both teams fight for a District 3 playoff berth, it's about establishing dominance right from the get-go.
Oh, well, they're coming over here, so it's definitely important that we show up ready to play. First half, just show them what we got.
We just got to come out strong from the beginning, keep it up all game. We can't let them have a chance to any hope to get in it.
I expect that they'll come to Mannheim with good things on their mind. They beat Cocalico. It's a big win for their program, but we also have a lot to play for too, so I imagine it'll be quite a football game.
Through 7 weeks of football, the Barons were ranked 9th in the District 3 power ratings. Now, Ephrata is pretty much out of the playoff picture, so the Mounts are refocusing on a couple other key goals, Carl.
Yeah, with 3 games to go, they're still in search of a section win, and at 2-5 could finish with a 500 record. It's been a season of highs and lows for Ephrata. Their upset of Cocalico and that win over CV, a couple of the highlights, but the Mounts have been gouged the past 2 weeks, giving up 300 rush yards to both Warwick and Wilson, while the offense was held under 50 yards against the Bulldogs last Friday. Tonight they get a fellow 2-5 team, Hempfield, and it's a homecoming of sorts for Jim Veland, who coached there before taking over at Ephrata.
Yeah, we're focusing on Hempfield, but also it's a chance, like you said, to get to 500 with these last 3 games. That'd be huge for us, and to get our first win in Section 1, Hempfield's obviously a great opportunity.
It'd mean a lot. It's been a long time since a Ephrata football team has gotten 500, so it'd be really nice.
The numbers are not pretty for these 2-5 teams. The Black Knights are last in the league in total offense, with Ephrata just above them.
Both teams have just 51 first downs this year. That's tied for last, and the scoring margins aren't so hot either. A positive for the Mounts. They do have the second fewest penalties, though, of any LL team.
We now welcome in Jeff Reinhardt of blanksports.com. Jeff, we've been looking at the Section 2 race and a bunch of teams playing for their playoff lives. So help us clear up the district picture. Mannheim Central at 4-3. You think they're in, correct?
I think they're in. I think the Barons run the table. I think they go 7-3. Could get a home game, and I think they'll be very dangerous. I want no part of Mannheim Central if they run the table and make districts. I want zero part of them.
Then you've got CV, Cocalico, Garden Spot, Solanco, and Lebanon all at 3-4. Garden Spot and Cocalico play tonight. Does the winner make districts?
Winner goes. If it's Cocalico, yes. I think the Eagles have the weapons here if they can get Hartman back to kind of run the table and go. But the loser of Cocalico Garden Spot, for all intents and purposes, is out. CV, I'm going to say no. Bucks are probably going to have to run the table, and they have LS in week 10. That's no gimme. Lebanon just totally hit the wall. They had the great 3-0 start, and they've lost 4 in a row, and they're struggling. They have CV.
And how about Solanco, that final team?
Solanco's probably going to have to run the table, and they have LS. Very, very outside shot if they go 5-5 to get in. I doubt it. Solanco's going to have to get to 6 wins. Right now, I got to say no because LS is just cruising. That's a tough game for Solanco.
Let's turn it over to those unbeatens. LS, one of them, plus Wilson and Catholic. Who's making it the farthest in the postseason out of those 3?
Still going to stick with Catholic. AA only has the 8-team field, so they just got to win a couple of games to win districts. I still say Catholic is the favorite there. They're number 2 right now behind Littlestown. So all signs are pointing towards a Catholic Littlestown final. We'll see how that goes. I still say Catholic gets to the district final. Wilson's got a shot in Quad A, which is loaded, and AAA is going to be tough as well. But I still say Catholic gets the furthest. If I had a guess today, I'd say Catholic gets to the district final.
Then finally, Jeff, still 3 games to go, but at this point, give me your Coach of the Year and League MVP.
League MVP, we got to go with Darren Thompson from Warwick. He's been nothing short of amazing. 5 200-yard rushing games in a row, 22 touchdowns. He's been a workhorse. Quarterback gets hurt, he goes and takes wildcat snaps for a night. So he's been nothing short of stupendous. So hand that trophy to Mr. Thompson at Warwick, no doubt. Coach of the Year, I'd probably go with John Mannion at LS. None of us picked LS to win Section 2. Not a lot of us had LS at 7-0 at this point in the season. No offense to those guys, but it was their first trip up in Section 2. We knew they'd have a rugged schedule. They pick off Cocalico, then they beat Mannheim Central, so they slay the Barons in their first trip in Section 2. 7-0, ranked in the state, number 1 in District 3 AAA. So definitely my Coach of the Year up to this point would be John Mannion at LS.
I wonder how much Coach Mannion wishes he was still in Section 3, get a crack at those Crusaders too.
Really, I think they'd love a crack at them this year to see what that game is all about, because that's always been a great game. But I think they're liking Section 2. They're doing pretty well this year.
They seem to be enjoying it. Jeff
Yes, they are.
Reinhardt of Langsports.com helping us look around the league a little bit. Thanks, Jeff.
Sure.
All right, thanks, guys. Coming up, we compare two of the best running backs to come through the LL League, Kevin Kelly and Darren Thompson.
Vision, power, speed, cutback ability.
Plus, we go under the lights with a sophomore Spartan whose toughness is paving the way towards a 1,000-yard season. Stay tuned, that's coming up. Welcome back. Garden Spot is in the thick of a playoff race, surprising maybe to many. The Spartans are doing it, though, with a young core of skilled position players.
And one of those is sophomore tailback and linebacker Adam Haas, who we first heard of last winter on the wrestling mat. Time to put Haas under the lights.
Adam Haas, Garden Spot, running back, linebacker. I was 7 years old when I started playing football, 2nd grade.
He's gifted physically and mentally. He's a competitor. I looked at him in the summertime at team camp and said this could be a 1,000-yard rusher as a sophomore.
It's how hard you're going to work in the offseason that's going to, affect what you're going to do in the season.
The give is to Haas, and he is in for the touchdown.
People always say, football and wrestling goes hand in hand, and I mean, they're telling you the truth because it really does. That mentality of, you got to try and mentally break somebody down, and that everybody has a breaking point, and you just got to find it.
You can push them a little further, they're going to bend a little more than some of the other kids are.
It's made football, I believe, so much easier, and the mentality of going through the whole season and kind of trying to ignore all the pressures that go along with being young and being thrown into a mix already. It feels good, to earn yards. It'd be one thing to just, have the line do all the work for me. It feels good to do a little bit yourself.
He'll hit you, but he has vision and he's faster than the other streets. So he's kind of complete package in our offense right now. We're looking forward to great things from him through this season and down the road.
He reminds me of like a Maurice Jones-Drew type running back, kind of stocky and just bowls people over.
As many times as I saw him get hit by LS last week, it didn't faze him. Nothing does. Seems to be a theme with running backs in the LL. Tough-nosed running backs. Hard to forget one of the best to come through, CV's Kevin Kelly, who we happen to be reminded of pretty often this season.
It's pretty hard to believe just a year after he set the LL rushing mark, a certain Darren Thompson is on pace to do it again. In a comparison through 7 weeks, Thompson is actually averaging more yards and carries a game and has more 200-plus yard weeks than Kevin Kelly did all last season, 5 so far. Thompson is also creeping up right there on Kelly's season total for touchdowns.
Fun fact, in Week 6 for both backs, they each scored 5 touchdowns. Kelly in 2009 versus Solanco. Thompson 2 weeks ago against Ephrata.
And a year ago tonight in Week 8, Kelly rushed for 335 yards and 5 more scores, so we can see if Thompson can match that tonight.
I wouldn't be surprised. Darren Thompson is 790 yards from a new record. That would be about 197 per week if they can get at least one district game. Remember, Kelly and the Bucks played into the 2nd round in 2009.
When I look at both these running backs, they are so similar, it's amazing. The key to both of them is, if you look at the video, their vision. They don't run, they run to a spot, but then they read the blocks and they find the seams.
Second touchdown of the night for Thompson.
Watch their ability to make that cut. Right there, make somebody miss. Look at this cut, right there. That is just, that's a natural ability to make people miss. This is like looking in a mirror. They can plant one foot and be going 90 degrees the other way almost instantaneously, and they do it at top speed.
With a move to the outside, Darren Thompson in for the touchdown.
And not only that, but they both had very good offensive lines. Look at that hole. You have to give both coaching staffs a lot of credit. They realize the abilities of both Thompson and Kelly. They put in an offense that will highlight their abilities.
Stays on his feet. Touchdown, Warwick.
You are kidding me. Running backs in high school, to get 100 yards a game is outstanding, but to have 2 guys go for 2,000 yards and Thompson's on his way there, I mean, that's just phenomenal.
You know, I think I would like both of those guys on my fantasy team.
You might have had a chance against me last week in
I
our work
know.
league.
I think I only would have needed 2 players and I would have had you beat. But coming up, we have the rest of tonight's matchups from around the league, plus how you can get live updates from tonight's game. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Here's a look at the rest of the slate for the LL League tonight. In Section 1, Cedar Crest is the only league team without a victory. They host 4-3 McCaskey. A tall task for Township tonight on the road at undefeated Wilson. The Streaks have the best offense in the league up against Wilson's top-ranked defense. Solenko will try to do what no one else has been able to this season, beat LS. The Pioneers and Mules have the top 2 defenses in Section 2. In Section 3, Elko got their first win in a week ago. They now travel to Anvil-Cleona, the only winning team besides Catholic in that section. Donegal and Northern Lebanon face off in Fredericksburg, and Pequay Valley plays its non-league game this week, hosting independent team Freedom Village from New York State. And of course, the high school game night crew will be out and about at games tonight, and for live updates, follow us on Twitter or on our sports blog. Plus, be a fan on Facebook at facebook.com/News11Sports. All right, it's nearing game time in Lidditz. Thanks for joining us on the pregame show. Don't forget to come back for tonight's game highlights at 10:30. For now, from the studio to the field we go. Coach Phil Kaufman and Eric May take it from here. Enjoy the game.